Hey guys, welcome to my channel. We are reading Open Book by Jessica Simpson. We are on part 1 part 1, chapter 1, video 2. So I'm just going to continue reading that right there. It's on page 26. I soon zoned out while the team went to work for hours, gluing a gray beard on my face and helping me into a wig and Willie's signature long braids and a American flag bandana. I stared at the mirror, relieved not to see me at all. Eric came in and I made like I was in character. Saved me from being honest. He asked if I wanted to help the kids get ready. I didn't answer. I let it seem like I was too heavy when he knew that kind of stuff was always a joy for me. Maxwell was home. He said I was terrified of letting her see me in that shape. She was going to be Belle from Beauty and the Beast, while Ace was going to be a cowboy. I am ashamed to say that I don't know who got them into their costumes that night. I was the mom who set the alarm an hour earlier if my daughter wanted a French braid for school. Usually I would 100% be there for a moment like a Halloween costume. I wasn't. But I needed the picture to post. Eric and the kids didn't care, but people expected it. I told myself through the window. I saw Eric, who in his black hat vest looked more like Kevin Richardson from the Backstreet Boys when Waylon Jennings. My mom gathered Maxwell and Ace for the photo, and I finally joined them outside. People had already started to arrive, and there were so many kids. I strummed my guitar as Willie would, holding it out to keep people at arm's length as they laughed at my transformation. Ace looked unconcerned, but I was relieved when I realized it was because he didn't know who I was in my beard and braids. Perfect, I thought. This broken person is not your mother, my sweet boy. Nothing to see here. So I went through the motions that got the photos like every mom does on special occasions. Just get the damn photo so we can create the memory. Then I can go back to real life. Then I can go back inside and hide in the photos. Eric has his hand on a small of my back. He is smiling, but I know he is scared for me. As I turned to go inside, Eric announced we were all going trick-or-treating. All the kids at the party yelled in excitement, and I shrank. I forgot this had been the plan. We rented golf carts to take everyone out around the gate community where we live. Eric, I can't, I whispered. What do you mean you can't? He said. He had been shouldering much of the party hosting on his own that day. There was frustration in his voice. We've got like 20 golf carts. I can't. Just get on a golf cart, he said. We're going trick-or-treating. I'm just going to sit down for a while. I turned it and went upstairs to my room. I could hear guests tooting golf carts, horns, and kids laughing. I started peeling off the beard, but I found it was stuck. I didn't care. I couldn't care. I didn't care if I had a house full of guests. I felt broken, unserving of even being around them. I always put so much pressure on myself to have these parties. Now it all felt so pointless. I would spend weeks choosing the perfect wrapping paper for people's presents, and it would be ripped up in a minute. Nobody expected this kind of extravagance. It was just me imagining that they did. Now it was worse than not being enough. I couldn't even show up for my own party. I took an Ambien, maybe 2. It was a security pill to me. No matter how tired I was terrified of being awake in bed. I knew exactly why I was always so afraid, but that didn't mean I was ever going to do anything about it. My housekeeper, Evelyn, found me crying in my room. She had been with me 15 years and was like a second mom to me. She sat next to me and held me. I felt like I swam for hours and barely made it to shore. She laid me back, stroking my forehead lightly, and I was gone. I welcomed ovulation. Here, I would like to tell you that I got up early the next day and got my kids to school. I did not. I slept in, afraid to see them and hoping that Eric would tell them I wasn't feeling well. I had failed them. No matter how much of a mess I have been, I thought that I had always shown up for them. The fact that I wasn't present for them, even for just one night, was unacceptable. I hid until they left, then drank. I felt emotionally hungover and thought I needed it to recover. I needed to be normal for when my friends came over for our for our weekly meetings. There's a core 3 who help me take care of business. My publicist, Lauren, who is way more my friend than my publicist, to be honest. Casey, my friend since I signed the Columbia in 1997. And Coco, who is not just my assistant, but one of my best friends. Coco and I had bailed on Coco's party, and I had a huge cake for her and everything. I wondered if they'd even brought it out. It was another failure. That day was supposed to be special because I'd flown my hair colorist Rita Hazen from New York. She's an artist and has been doing my hair since 1999. She packs everything she might need into a burnt snowboarding suitcase for an at-home process that takes about an hour. She is so chill and cool with her light Brooklyn accent that I never mind her hearing anything. The girls would be here while I had my hair done, multitasking. Casey and Coco arrived first, finding me still in a panic state. Rita rereaded her station in my house. Coco was obviously hurt, and I immediately started crying to her. I blabbered with apologizes as Rita left the room to get something. I missed putting the candles in the Ziploc bag. It's okay, Coco said meekly, but I feel awful. Stephanie walks in. She was there to load out the party she had put so much work into that I had missed. She took in the attention right away. Casey gave me a sharp, direct, "Why do you think you feel awful?" Because I wasn't present. I said, like I was guessing at the math problem. "And why weren't you present?" she said. I knew that one. Because I probably drank too much. "Probably?" Casey asked. Stephanie, the good cop of Casey, thought through one, cut in with her sweet Texas lilt. "Jesse, maybe you should." Rita came back in, and I was so relieved. She ran her hands through my hair, letting it catch the light, so better examine it, and asked what look I was going for. I sighed. "Bleach it," I mumbled. "Just completely bleach it. My hair and make me look like Andy Warhol. Suicide from hairstyle." "What the hell are you talking about?" yelled Casey, shaking her head no at Rita. Her hair is blonde curls swaying with anger. "I just want it all off," I said. "Jess, why do you think you drank too much?" asked Casey. "Do you think you've been drinking too much a lot of days?" "Yes," I blurted. "I need to stop. Something gotta stop. And if it's the alcohol that's doing this and making things worse, then I quit." Stephanie sighed as if Casey had pulled the right plug to stop a time bomb at the last second. But Casey didn't relent. She grabbed my face, holding my chin into her palm. "You better not be lying." The chin grab was Casey's signature move. The first time I had to go on stage alone after leaving my husband Nick in 2005. I stood frozen backstage, convinced no one would accept me on my own again. She grabbed my chin and said a firm, "Get out there." "Jessica," she said, as Rita looked on, "this is your rock bottom. This is it. Do you want to change?" "Yes," I said. "Like right now, yes." I know my limits, and I had gone beyond them. I was allowing myself to be taken away from moments that I should have been in. Now I needed to turn inward, to live in the moment, and not live in the lie anymore. I breathed in, breathed out, and looked around. "At least I can say my rock bottom had pretty pillows," I said, and soft landing. The girls gather me up in a group hug, and from the center I call out to Eric. He came in. "Babe, I'm gonna stop drinking," I said, just like that. As if I said, "I'm going to the store. Need anything?" He looked right at me. "Then I will too," he said. "Really?" "Yeah, we're in this together." "Okay. Can you make me one last drink?" I asked. "What?" "Just one last one to say goodbye." I know, I hear the record scratch too. But I said I'd be honest with you. I had one more glitter cup. But Casey wasn't going to let me whistle out of my promise. She immediately texted Lauren, who was still on her way. "Dude, get your people moving. She's ready." And then as Rita wrapped foils around my hair to dye it a same color, Stephanie, Casey, and Coco explained that they had been planning for this moment for more than 6 months. Lauren already had a doctor lined up who specialized in getting celebrities in-home therapy, a treatment for addiction. It's a company town, after all. Lauren had pulled over and was already on the phone getting the time for me to talk to the doctor, who would then dispatch their therapist specific to my needs, depending on what I can on the call. I had the nerve to be offended. "You were all talking behind my back?" They each shared their intervention plan, making it clear they did so because they were afraid I was going to die. Stephanie, for one, had planned to talk to my mother. My mother said, "Oh God, no, Stephen. If my mom told me to stop drinking, I would drink more." Another plan was to have Linda Perry talk to me. She's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame and had recently been working on creating her music. Linda had already reprimanded me about writing under the influence. "I don't want that drunk stuff, she said. "I need sober writing." I would have been so insulted, I said. "She's known me for 3 months. See?" said Casey. "We had to let you." "But why would you never just come to me?" I said, trying to stay still. "For Rita, as she worked on my hair." I say, "This is too much, Jess. We're gonna have to take it to the next level." "But I would do that to you guys, for you guys. I mean, why would you be scared to talk to me? I'm not gonna be mad at you, like now," asked Casey. "I mean, I'm out with you're all in different places ordering drinks, and you're ordering drinks too," I said, on the defensive. "Why wouldn't you just be like, let's not drink tonight?" They were quiet. A long beat. I broke the silence. "I mean, I would have probably laughed at you." Everyone laughed, even Rita, but then I would have known it was worrying you. It didn't break my heart, and I was such a mess that they wanted to intervene. It broke my heart that they felt they had to go behind my back, but they were right. I had deeper problems than alcohol, and I couldn't resolve the problem until I threw away the crunch. "Guys, I think we should pray," said Stephanie. She has been with me since we were kids, going to Heights Baptist in Texas, and she knew what faith means to me. I stood in foils, still in my hair, and the 4 of us held hands. "Lord, she's giving this burden to you," Stephanie said. Coco gripped my hand tight. I'm giving this to you, I said. I am your humble servant. And a ding went off Rita's timer. Okay, you gave it to God, Rita said. We gotta wash that stuff out now, or you will look like Andy Warhol. She rinsed me out like just as Nikki and Rihanna arrived, putting in my instinctions. They are the co-workers of 901, a big salon in West Hollywood. I know this story only gets more over the top, but so was my life. We were getting set in the wooden chair in my study when Lauren came in. I was crying, tears pouring from my eyes, and we just exchanged a look that said it was time. She told me she lined up the call with the doctor. She's ready now, are you? Yes, I said, looking up at Nikki and Rihanna. They nodded. I didn't hesitate for a second. I trusted them, and I knew now was my time. Besides, I didn't care who heard my truth. I was tired of letting shame dictate my actions. And do you know how hard it is to schedule Nikki and Rihanna? Once I was on the phone with the doctor, I started in with a complete play-by-play of all my life's traumas. The sexual abuse that suffered in childhood, and the abuse of obsessive relationships I clung to in adulthood. I was crying. The women doing my extensions were crying, and my friends were a mess still. I reeled off everything in a matter-of-fact manner, connecting dots about why each event had contributed to my anxiety. Finally ending with, so this is why I need help and why I can't do this on my own. I paused to breathe. Wow, the doctor said. My eyebrows shot up. Was I that bad? First of all, she continued, people don't know themselves that well, and the fact that you don't know me and you're telling me all this on the phone tells me you were desperate. I was trying to get an A on breaking down, she said. A lot of people who use alcohol as temporary coping mechanism generally aren't aware of what they're covering up, so the abuse becomes permanent. Knowing what I had to face was a good sign for me. She lined up a nurse and another therapist to come over that very night. In the meantime, I moved every drop of alcohol out of the house, but we didn't really need to bother. I had no craving for it. I was mad at it. I was starting to feel like, oh, this is what it felt like to be living. The therapist came and hesitated in the doorway, like the exorcist coming to cast out the demons. The house was dark, and I led her to my study, right where I am writing to you now. I thought she was stiff at first and spoke so soft I could barely hear her, but she was getting the lay of the land. Eric had the fireplace going for us, and we sat across from each other. So, she said, let's talk about what brought you to this point. And the work began. To walk forward through my anxiety, I first had to look back to understand what pain I was running from and what I was trying to hide. And that is the end of chapter 1, guys. I will see you guys in the next video for chapter 2.